Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the final bend or final turn of Unit 3, Lesson 3.4. Earlier I've explained to you in the previous two lectures that how the first letter was written by Rudyard Kipling. The most important problem was communication gap. The Tegumai, Teshumai and Taffy, they were unable to read, they were unable to write, but they could draw and speak their own version language. Whereas a stranger man who is a pure Tevara, obviously another tribal person, and that person could not converse or could not talk, could not speak the same language that of Tegumai, Teshumai and Taffy. So there was a gap between both of them and they could not, they spoke to each other but they could not understand their language at all. That means there was a communication gap between both the tribal people. And therefore the letter written by Taffy, what she wanted to say, she wrote according to her own understanding, but the stranger man understood in a different manner because he interpreted the same thing, or he translated the same picture drawn by Taffy in a different way. Now, the third person who is going to read the same letter is none other than Taffy's mother, who is Teshumai. She is a very, very inquisitive female. She is a very curious female because she has ample amount of curiosity in asking many questions. So let's see what reaction she does on seeing the same bark of the tree and the drawing done by Taffy, what interpretation is done in this particular manner. Now with the picture Taffy had drawn for him, what have you been doing? Taffy said, Tegumai, he had mended his spear and was carefully waving it to and fro. That means the spear was ready for once again for fishing. It's a little be-arrangement of my own, daddy dear. Be-arrangement means not arranged in the correct manner that it was originally made. Obviously, when it was originally made, it was in a perfect shape, perfect manner. But obviously, once the spear was broken, so by hook or by crook or by some technical method, by using whatever circumstances are, however the difficulties are, doing something better than nothing to get everything updated for a better catch of the fish. So even though the spear was be-arranged in such a manner, if you want to ask me question, you will know all about it in a little time and you will be surprised. Taffy is speaking to father, telling if you don't ask me questions, in a little while you will find something new happening and you will be really surprised and be happy to see what was actually happening. You don't know how you surprised you will be. Daddy promised you will be surprised. That means Taffy is saying something really what she is supposed to understand according to a message written by her, incorrectly interpreted by the stranger man, and again incorrectly interpreted or translated by the lady of the house. Very well, said Tegumai, and went on fishing. That means now the father is gone for fishing to catch fishes so that they can have a good, lovely dinner. The stranger man didn't know he was. The Tevara hurried away with the pitcher and ran for some miles till quite by accident he found Teshumai Pinto at the door of the cave, talking to some other Neolithic ladies who had come into a primitive lunch. Taffy was very like Teshumai, especially above the part of the upper part of the face. And the eyes, so the stranger man, always a pure Tevara, smiled politely and handed Teshumai the birch bark. He had run hard, so he had panted, and his legs were scratched with the brambles, but he still tried to be polite. That means he fulfilled the wish that Taffy wanted that letter to be given to Teshumai. That here, by hook or by crook, facing all the brambles. Brambles means thorny bushes on the way, the beavers on the way, and after running for a few miles, he was literally panting for breath, taking deep breath. Panting for breath meaning taking hard breathing. taking long and deep breaths. Obviously, when you run, you sprint, you jog, you will start taking deep breath, because that is the time when you are out of oxygen. When you start taking deep breath, then you get ample amount of oxygen, then you start slowly and steadily relax, your body energy is recovered. And in that case, it moves in such a manner. Then the lady of the house, even though the stranger man is in a polite manner giving a smile so that the lady of the house understands, and takes all the tribal people and immediately goes for help to the chief of who is at the fishing place at the river end. But the picture is wrongly or incorrectly translated by Tashumai, and see what reaction happens to the stranger man. As soon as Tashumai saw the picture, she screamed like anything and flew at the stranger man. That means she shouted, she yelled very, very loudly, and jumped onto the stranger man and caught him tightly. And in that same manner, the other Neolithic ladies at once knocked him down and sat on him in a long line of 6 while Tashumai pulled his hair. That means Tashumai caught the stranger man by the time, and there were 6 ladies along with her who also saw Tashumai showing some sort of reaction. They thought this stranger man was doing something vague or something incorrect, and immediately they all jumped on him and made him lie flat on the floor of the cave, and they all were sitting in one line. And then the lady of the house, that is Tashumai, was literally tugging and pulling the hair of the stranger man. Now let's see what they understand by the picture. It's as plain as the nose on the stranger man's face. That means it is very simple what the picture is denoting or explaining to what we are supposed to understand. He has stuck my Tegumai all full of fear and frightened poor Taffy, so that her hair stands on all ends. That means if you look at the picture very carefully, the spear which is in the hand of the stranger man is hitting the Tegumai, and because of that the hair of Taffy is standing. Obviously, when your hair stands, it means you are afraid, it means you are scared, it means you are frightened. So because of that, the lady of the house interpreted it in an incorrect manner. What is happening? The spear which is in the hand of the stranger has hit Tegumai, and Taffy is screaming, is getting scared, is frightened in that manner. Poor Taffy. And this person brings this horrid picture and shows it to me, that see what I have done to your child. Look, she showed the picture to all the Neolithic ladies sitting patiently on the stranger man. All the ladies are sitting literally on the stranger man, catching him and starting beating him up also. And showing that particular picture, which is showing that particular picture, that the spear which is in the hand of Tegumai has been broken, and another spear is there in the hand of the Tewara, the stranger man who is hitting the Tegumai, and then the little girl Taffy, because the hair is standing and because of some things, it is showing that the girl is totally frightened, scared of the stranger man. Here is my Tegumai with his arm broken. That means here is a spear sticking into his back. That means what is she interpreting at the picture? Tegumai has broken his hand, his arm. And what is the next picture saying? That the stranger man is sticking a spear into Tegumai's back. Here is a man with a spear ready to throw. Here is another man throwing a spear from a cave. That means the lady who is standing actually at the cave, she is thinking that there is a man out there who is ready to take another spear from the cave and throw it on the back of Tegumai. And here are a whole pack of people, where they were Taffy's beaver really, but they look like people. Obviously what she thought, that the beavers in the picture were human beings ready to fight with my husband Tegumai. Coming up behind Tegumai, isn't it shocking? All this total interpretation was because of wrong understanding, because of the people who were unable to speak or unable to converse with each other. That means one letter was written in three different ways interpreted. One letter was written, but it was interpreted in three different ways. One, the first one was Teshumai, not Tegumai, not Teshumai, but Tephimai. Tephimai as a child, what did she draw? She drew her father with the broken spear, correct? And then she drew herself with her hair standing, that was also correct. Then what, according to the child's understanding, then she drew stranger man with a spear that he should remember what he has to go to the home and bring the spear back. And then she drew a small cave and made the mama stand outside the cave so that the stranger man will move to the cave and find that the mama is there, and he will hand the particular letter out there, correct? And after that what happens? She drew small beavers out there so that the route or the way or the path to the house could be understood. And she told the stranger man that you will have to run, you move from here, you will find two trees, from between the trees you have to go, you will find the beaver swamp out there, and then from the beaver swamp you can find a few steps ahead you will find the cave out there where my mama will be standing. That was the explanation given by Taffy actually to the stranger man. But because they could not understand each other's language, that was the main drawback, and that is the reason where the incorrect interpretation or incorrect translation was there. And what did the stranger man understand? Now that was the part what Taffy had drawn on the bark of the tree. Now what did the stranger man take it as understanding? What did he take it? He took it that as understanding that the Tegumai is a chief of some tribe, and there are many people hiding in the jungle who are ready to attack Tegumai, and he is supposed to run and immediately give this letter so that the other chief of the tribal people can come and give help and save their chief from the various dangerous people who are hiding in the bushes of that particular forest. That was the interpretation of the letter given by Taffy to the stranger man. Now the third interpretation of the letter, same letter to be interpreted or translated in a third manner. What did? Now the letter was given to the lady of the house, that is mother, Taffy's mother, that is Teshumai. And what did she understand? She understood it as, she took the letter, and what did she think? The Tegumai was standing there with his arm broken, with his hand broken. And next to that, there was a small child who had all the hair up. That shows frightenedness, that shows she is afraid, she is screaming for help. And then she sees another man holding a spear in his hand and hitting Tegumai. These are three explanations. Then she saw another man standing with a spear in his hand, ready to attack. And then she sees against the beaver, which was supposed to be the beavers, she took it as many people ready with an army ready to attack my husband Tegumai. And look at this person, he's giving me a smiling face and explaining it to me that this is a letter given to you. I am bringing it to you with the politeness of that. So the letter Rudyard Kipling has written was one letter but interpreted or translated in three different ways, in three different views. One by Taffy, second by the stranger man, and third by Teshumai. So you can understand the gap of writing. When you don't know to read, when you don't know to write, when you don't know to speak, that is the main problem. Where we people always say, I keep reminding my students, 4 to 5 things they should always keep doing is, I'll write it down here so that you understand it in a better manner, and I'll explain it to you also so that you understand it in a way you should be able to understand. First and foremost thing is a child must know to read. First and foremost thing is a child must know to read. First thing is read, or you can say reading. Right? If a person knows to read, there won't be any problem at all. Next thing is The spelling of the word. Spellings. Third is meaning. Meaning with proper understanding. Meaning with proper understanding. Right? Fourth is your writing. Fourth is your writing. If you know to read, no problem. If you know to spell, very good. If you know the meaning, you will never make any mistakes in your grammatical working of writing sentences. Writing must be readable. It should be readable. If the examiner does not understand your writing, how he or she will give you marks? So it is most important thing is writing. Write legible works.